Today on Studio One, many people like to ride motorcycles. We'll take you to a place where they can custom fit a bike so almost anyone can hit the road. Also, many have felt that helpless feeling of locking their keys in their vehicle. We'll talk to the man who saves the day in those situations. And the news team will tell us how the death of Minnesota Senator Paul Wellstone is affecting this year's election.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Kelly Anderson. Thanks for joining us today.
We have a lot of things jam-packed into this show.
Yeah, we do.
Among them, we have a little segment on how much people love their cars.
Yeah, we got some interesting comments on that one.
It is, and it's interesting because there's an opinion research survey that was done earlier this year. They said that 70 to 80% of people would rather be driving a newer car than the one that they have right now.
Pretty much everybody's shooting for a new car.
Yeah, everybody wants that new car smell.
How do you feel about yours?
I could probably use a new one right about now. Well, also coming up on the show, universities are always looking for ways to attract new students. We'll tell you how some schools are using the fitness craze to their advantage.
Also, many communities are able to provide clinics for women that offer information and birth control services free of charge. We'll talk with a woman who will tell us how these clinics benefit everyone in the community, even those who never set foot inside.
But first, today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. With less than 5 days left until the election, former Vice President Walter Mondale launched his campaign for Senate Thursday. The Minnesota Democratic Party nominated Mondale to replace the late Senator Paul Wellstone on the November 5th ballot. Mondale has not held an elected office since 1980. He was last in the Senate in 1976 before being elected as Jimmy Carter's vice president. While Mondale is just beginning his campaign, others are ending theirs with a boost from the president. Bush is in South Dakota campaigning for John Thune, the GOP Senate candidate. The race in South Dakota is key in determining who will have control of the U.S. Senate. The president will also be traveling to Indiana and West Virginia. Bush also plans to visit Florida to campaign for his brother, Jeb Bush, who is running for re-election. Bush plans to visit 15 states to campaign for GOP candidates within the next 5 days. This year has been a good one for military recruitment. The recruiting goals for all branches were easily met in less time than usual. The head of the Army Recruiting Command says the boom is a result of the slow economy and an increase in patriotism. Only a few years ago, thousands of spots were left open because of declining interest in the military. This year, both the Army and Air Force hit their recruiting goals and already are stocking up recruits for 2003. The Air Force targets about 35,000 people annually, while the Army attracts about double that number. A lot of work goes into the recruitment process.
I do a lot of high school visits and try to make some good contacts there at the schools and show the kids some opportunities that we have for them. A lot of phone calls to the schools, and also a lot of mail outs that we do, and class presentations, and try to be involved in the community.
Meyer says the number of recruits from his area, which covers most of Minnesota, has remained about the same. But he says since September 11th, he has received more phone calls from those who are interested in joining the Air Force. When most people consider taking a second language, they usually choose a common one such as Spanish or French. But now many students are studying Latin. More public schools are beginning to offer Latin as a way to increase their standards. In some schools, students can take the dead language as early as the 3rd grade. Teachers like the language because it's similar to English and because it is used commonly in science. A century ago, it was the preferred language of study for American students, with nearly 50% taking a course in Latin. Colleges and universities are now going beyond academics to entice prospective students to attend their institution. Schools are now using recreation centers as another source of recruitment.
This may look like any typical health club, but this is the beginnings of the new wellness center being built at the University of North Dakota. Many colleges, like UND, are now building state-of-the-art facilities that can include climbing walls, water slides, and many other things that could be found at large spas and health clubs. Students have come to expect some form of these facilities.
What used to be seen as a luxury on campus is now a necessity. You're talking about a student body that's coming in with certain expectations.
These facilities can be a great recruitment tool because roughly 75% of the students use their school's recreation center. At UND, decisions about the Wellness Center are not made by administration, but are the ideas of students.
The student input has been a really big part of this whole thing. We are constantly getting different comments and suggestions from students, and their input is very valuable to us.
The recreation centers in larger schools can cost over $100 million to construct. The costs of these facilities are covered in tuition, and students are willing to pay the extra money to attend a college with a recreation center. These facilities can provide students with many other benefits.
We want to make sure that there are opportunities for students to get what they need to be the best students they can be, and that means taking care of their bodies and their minds.
For many students, working out is an excellent way to burn away stress and build confidence.
Yes, you're exercising your body, but a lot of times people use it as a study break. You know, I'll go up there and I'm just really burnt out from studying, so maybe I need just a break from studying. So it's restful for my mind, it's re-energizing for my body.
With the increasing demand for facilities like these, schools will continue to expand and promote their recreation centers. This is Nick Oski reporting for Studio One News.
Roughly 25% of the college recreation centers in the U.S. have been built in the past 2 years. And that's news for now. Monty and Kelly?
Thanks, Haley. Well, I don't know about you, but I've been putting on the mittens already, half the scarf.
I've been doing that for a good month and a half already.
You really don't like the cold, do you?
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid it as much as I can. Let's go to the Regional Weather Information Center with John Randall to see how much cold we have coming up in the forecast.
Well, Monty and Kelly, we've seen very, very cold temperatures over the past few weeks in our area. Will it be warming up anytime soon? We'll have the answer to that coming up in the forecast. But right now, let's take a look at Grand Forks Almanac data. High today was 30 degrees with a low this morning, right in the teens. Normal temperatures this time of year, right around 26 for lows and right around 45 degrees for highs. Currently in Grand Forks, under those mostly sunny skies, we have temperatures still right around 29 degrees Fahrenheit, 16-degree dew point, relative humidity of 51%, and west-northwest winds, a little gusty at 14 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region, very, very chilly as we work our way out west. Only 20 degrees in Billings and Casper, very chilly for Rapid City as well. Only 19 degrees there for their temperature right now. Warmer as we work our way eastward though, 34, and Des Moines are the hot spot in Iowa and Minnesota. Currently, surface analysis, we have a stationary front that is across the southwest part of the United States, draping all the way back just right about Florida. Partly cloudy skies down in the southeast. High pressure dominating the skies out in the northeast. And as we zoom into our area, as we fly in, we see that high pressure dominating our skies as well. And there's just a few clouds in the sky, allowing a lot of that sunshine to come on through. We haven't seen that in quite some time. Friday surface analysis looks like this. We still have that high pressure dominating our skies. A few showers will be going on across Texas, parts of New Mexico, and into Colorado, and another low pressure system is getting kicked up off to the north and east, creating a few showers for those of you north of the Great Lakes. Friday forecast looks like this. High right around 36 tomorrow will be the warmest day we've seen in quite some time, with a low tomorrow morning right around 23 with partly cloudy skies and west winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Weather IQ question, at what temperature is absolute zero? Is it 459 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Fahrenheit, 32, or negative 273 degrees Fahrenheit? Monty and Kelly will have that answer and your extended forecast coming up in the second half of the show.
Now, John, is that trivia question, you always stump me. Is that on the Kelvin scale, or what are we talking about here?
Well, absolute zero is 0 Kelvin. We're just asking what is the temperature if you converted it into Fahrenheit.
All right, we'll see what we can come up with. Thank you, John.
Do you have a calculator on you?
Not today, usually, but.
I don't think I'd know how to convert it anyway. Well, let's go now to sports news with Corey Morlock.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. The Tampa Bay Lightning won just a third of their games last season. However, this year they have only one loss in their first 9 games. Meanwhile, the New York Rangers are near the bottom of their division and we're hoping to get a much-needed win against the Lightning Wednesday night. We'll head down to Tampa. Scoreless in the first until not the toolman, but Tim Taylor grabs the rebound and shoves it home. Lightning would go up by 1. Be the same score in the third. St. Louis up the middle, dances Deeks and dishes to Modine for the sweet one-timer. The Lightning would win the game 3-0. Now take it to Penguins at centers. No score until Daniel Alfredson launches a rocket from the point. He 1-0 centers at that time. 4 minutes later, Lemieux, Morozov, Turnston, and a goal, all tied up at 1. Later it'd be 3-1 Penguins in third. Somebody left Mario Lemieux wide open, and you just don't do that as he slaps it home. 4-1, the Penguins win. Snowmobiling is a popular recreational sport across the U.S., but winter weather can make or break a snowmobile season. If areas get too much snow, grooming trails can be difficult. Registration fees and federal gas tax refunds help some states pay for grooming. However, in some places, this is not enough. In North Dakota, riders are raising money themselves through special events like this one in Grand Forks, North Dakota. This winter sports show was hosted by the Red River Snowmobile Club. Here, snowmobile enthusiasts got the chance to check out the latest sleds on the market. They also were able to see a glimpse of the past with an antique snowmobile display. Those who came say it's a great chance to get together with others who love to ride, while at the same time raising money to support their sport.
The state is not kicking in as much as they used to, so if you want to groom it all the time, you got to raise your own money.
Although fundraising is helpful, in most states grooming is done by volunteers. In some states, members of local snowmobile clubs are responsible for maintaining trails. It's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. This week's question, what country has won the most gold medals in men's ice hockey? Is it Russia, Canada, the U.S., or Sweden? We'll have the answer to that and more sports in the second half hour of the show. Monty and Kelly.
Thank you, Corey. Stay tuned. We're getting a sneak peek at what the Christmas season has in store for us already. We'll take a look at Santa Claus 2, a new movie hitting theaters in early November.
And it has been said that every army is only as strong as its soldiers. Similarly, every community is only as strong as its families. Coming up, we'll talk with a family planning expert who will tell us why the health of families is the responsibility of everyone.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The University of North Dakota. You can go anywhere from here. At UND, you'll find a challenging, exciting community that draws students from across the nation and around the world. Visit our campus and join the University of North Dakota community.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Programs that provide services for pregnant women and recent mothers in need are common. A less known fact is that the United States government funds many nonprofit organizations to provide confidential reproductive assistance to all people, male and female alike. Family planning expert Theresa Knox is here to talk to us about some of the unknowns of reproductive health. Theresa, thanks for joining us today.
Sure.
Now, from your title, it's obvious that you work with families and family planning. What is it that you do on a daily basis?
Well, as the executive director, I primarily run the clinic. I have nurse practitioners and nurses that work for Valley Health, and they see patients on a daily basis. We see men and women who come in who are interested in either starting a family or planning their pregnancies.
So what kind
ready.
of services do you offer these people?
Well, if a woman comes in, we could do annual exams, we can do PAPs and provide information on contraception. If a young person comes in, we might talk to them about waiting for sex till they're ready. If it's a middle-aged person who's planning a family, we might help them figure out ways to get pregnant, or to, if they just had a baby, they might want to wait 2 years. You know, it's up to them what they decide they want to do, and we can help them decide the best practice that's healthiest for them.
Okay, and these services that you offer, is everything free of charge through the organization, or?
Well, no, it is on a sliding fee scale. Because we have a federal grant, we can offer discounted services, and it's based on income and family size.
Oh, okay, so it kind of varies from person to
It does
person.
vary from person to person. The way I like to say it is that you can't make too much or too little to come and get Valley Health Services.
Okay, so what kind of people do you usually see coming in and seeking these services? Is it mostly, you know, young kids in a crisis situation, or is it?
Well, no, actually most of our population that come in are women who are between the ages of 18 and 30, and most of that group are 24 to 30. So they're maybe older than a lot of people would think.
Mm-hmm. So I know that you do deal with teenagers, though, that come in and seek your services.
Yes.
Talk about confidentiality. That's always an issue when teens are involved.
Sure.
What kind of confidentiality can you offer these?
Well, we are a confidential agency for all of the people who come. And if they're under the age of 18, we are mandated by the federal government to provide confidential services. That means, in that case, is that we are able to provide services to them, whether that's just seeking information. We don't have to tell. You know, a lot of teenagers are don't tell kind of mode, just because of where they're at and their age. Not necessarily that we're talking about, you know, sexual issues, but they are very private and when they're adolescents. And so the reassurance that we can give them information without any follow-up phone call kind of things to home is sometimes reassuring, just to come and get their questions answered if that's all they need to.
Yeah, and it seems kind of unique because generally it seems like there is an issue where you need to tell parents or you need to tell teachers.
Most clinical services, you require parent involvement. We certainly, if an adolescent comes in, we will certainly encourage them to include their parents in these kind of decisions or questions that they have, because the parent knows the child. We see them maybe for 20 minutes in a clinic, and a parent is really their best resource to get that information on what's best for them.
Now, do you only work with girls in this operation, or,
no.
or do you offer services for the males as well?
No, family planning is certainly a family issue. So we like to encourage families to come in, men to come in with their partners to get information either about their own health or their partner's health, what kind of services their partner is asking questions about and looking into. Certainly reproductive health is, I mean, both genders have reproductive systems, and so there are ways that you can keep yourself healthy whether you're male or female, and we have those services too.
So what are some active roles that males can take in terms of planning a healthy family? Because it kind of seems like it's a, you know, put upon the females for a responsibility.
Sure,
what are some of the things
and a
a
lot
male
of our
can do?
contraceptive supplies, for example, are female-based, like the pill, for example, but abstinence is also a choice for contraceptive, and that definitely is a mutual decision. If both people need to be involved in that choice, and those kind of questions on what's best for the couple are best made when both of the people in the couple, male and female, have informed choices available to them.
And your organization approaches family planning as a community health issue, as something that affects more than just those that come in and seek the services.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that these individuals affect an entire community?
Well, when you look at the health of the community, you look at maybe housing and jobs and wages and education levels. So when you're planning your pregnancies, you're going to be hopefully in a position where you've already finished your education, you're already maybe making a living, you're able to afford adequate housing. So when you plan your pregnancies, that's what we're looking at, as a healthy community. People who have unplanned pregnancies or sometimes haven't finished their education and they haven't got their jobs and they haven't got affordable housing. So where are they going to get that? Well, they're trying to, you know, spin all the plates at once and get their family. It just works. Well, I kind of.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's certainly beneficial for the families to have a program like your own to kind of guide them on their way.
Yeah, so when you look at a community, I guess where I was going with that is that when you look at a community, each individual's health counts toward the community health.
Yeah. Well, this has been very interesting. Thanks so much for coming on today,
Thanks for having me.
Coming up next on Studio One, yes, it's happening already. Christmas movies are making their way into theaters nationwide. We'll take a look at how Tim Allen looks in a Santa suit as we preview Santa Claus 2. And he's not fighting off bad guys or racing around in the Batmobile, but he is definitely a hero to those in need. We'll spend a day in the life of a locksmith. Stay with us.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota's School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Christmas holidays are approaching and Walt Disney is celebrating early. Producers have announced a sequel to follow the success of 1994's box office hit, The Santa Claus. Tim Allen stars as Scott Calvin in the movie Santa Claus 2. Scott has been Santa for the past 8 years. However, he has a few problems. His son Charlie has landed on this year's naughty list. And if that's not enough, Scott was unaware of the fine print noted on his contract. It states that he has to find a Mrs. Claus before Christmas Eve, or he will stop being Santa forever. Tim Allen says the sequel is just as original as the first movie, but it takes a closer look at Santa's home.
Came up with a much bigger scope so we could see more of the North Pole and see more of what goes on here and inside. We take the cameras a little deeper into the Pole City.
Tim Allen spent many hours in the makeup trailer. He wore pre-molded and pre-painted latex prosthetics that took about 3 to 4 hours to apply. The movie also needed the help of as many as 250 children to play Santa's elves. Santa Claus 2 opens nationwide on November 1st. Now time to take a look at the events happening in your area. You can call him anytime, day or night. He'll do anything he can to help you out when you've had a pretty bad day. He can get you out of a fix, but it'll cost you. Today, we spend a day in the life of a locksmith.
Randy Jumstead says he has seen it all.
He's one of those people that will come to your rescue day or night. Randy says urgency is just part of the job.
If you don't answer your phone, and talk to them personally, you don't get the call. I mean, if they're waiting to get their car unlocked, they're not going to leave a message on an answering machine because they don't know if you're coming and they want you there 10 minutes ago.
Randy says his days are unpredictable. Whenever the phone rings, it could be the next call for help. He's been in some unusual situations in his career, but says he helps a lot of people.
Ever since I started, I've unlocked cars with kids inside for free.
Randy says he can get into almost any vehicle, new and old.
The old pickups with the vent windows, you just use 2 tools and pop the vent window open and hit the electric.
The main problem Randy faces is that he works too fast.
When I go get to open a car up, if they've been trying to open it themselves, I get there and there isn't too many vehicles I can't get into in 2 or 3 minutes, or even less, and they just go, "What? I got to pay for that?"
Randy says one drawback of his job is that his family has had to adjust to his long hours and busy lifestyle. Nevertheless, he hopes locksmithing will keep him busy for years to come because he likes the excitement. So remember, next time you need a helping hand, there's probably a locksmith waiting for your call. With photographer Froda Tilden Nordby, I'm Monica Lemoyne for Studio One.
Randy says that the number of calls he goes on per week varies. A usual week consists of at least 20 calls. The tragic death of Minnesota Senator Paul Wellstone has had a profound effect on millions of people. We'll tell you how it has also made a major impact on this year's election as well. And trikes aren't just toys for kids anymore. We'll take a look at a new kind of trike that one man is customizing for adults only. That story plus news, sports, and the weather in the next half hour on Studio One.
North Dakota has been home to many successful entrepreneurs. George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty is the founder of one of the nation's high-tech giants, Texas Instruments. And Raymond Rood's product has been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. He is responsible for the modern diving board. Ryan Foltz is the first graduate of the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Are you next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET-accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thank you for joining us today. We have a special treat for everyone at the end of our show today.
We certainly do.
Yeah, we have snippets of some of the more famous people we've talked to in the past. We like to celebrate it's our 15th year doing this show.
So we'll have a little Hall of Fame roll going at the end of the show.
Right. Also coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, With just a few days remaining before the election, Minnesota Senator Paul Wellstone was killed in a plane crash. We'll tell you how this tragic event has affected this year's election.
And from pizzas to cell phone plans, it's common to be able to custom order things. We'll introduce you to a man who is tailoring motorcycles to his customers' wishes.
Also, everyone experiences crisis in their lives. Having someone there for support can make things better. We'll tell you about a program that is helping people at their most critical moments. But first, today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. Rescuers in southern Italy are working to uncover people trapped inside a nursery school after an earthquake hit the Molise region. Officials say they have already freed 20 people and are working to get 20 more out. The building collapsed during a Halloween party. At least 5 kindergarten children are dead after the roof fell in on them. Another woman died when her home collapsed on top of her. The earthquake was centered about 70 miles northeast of Naples, Italy, and was felt as far away as Rome. And there has been more unrest in the troubled Middle East. An explosion killed at least 3 people Thursday at the home of a Hamas militant in Gaza. The cause of the blast is still unknown. At least 6 other people were injured. 2 of them are in critical condition. Local residents say the 2-story house belongs to a Hamas member. They say the owner has a brother who is a senior official in the military wing of the Islamic militant group. Since Ford and Firestone had troubles with blowouts, many people are more concerned with the safety of their tires. So many automakers are adding tire pressure sensors as a standard accessory on many vehicles. The sensor can detect the tire pressure and notify the driver if a tire is low. And on some vehicles, the device can add or let air out of the tire without having to stop at a gas station. The federal government estimates the new technology could prevent many of the accidents caused by blowouts. Some believe this safety device may be something to look for in your next vehicle.
It's a nice feature to have so you wouldn't be driving down the highway with one of your tires 20 pounds lower, because that can cause a blowout in your tire.
Despite the safety benefits, some automakers fear customers could be unwilling to pay for the new technology. The sensor could add up to $200 to the price of a new car, but automakers say the cost may drop after more vehicles are equipped with the device. From the people who brought you the square watermelon comes an onion that won't leave you in tears. Japanese researchers have discovered a previously unknown enzyme that is suspected of helping form the chemical in onions that irritates the eyes. Some people are skeptical about the research because the 8-year project has only focused on yellow onions so far. Researchers now need to find the responsible gene in other species of onion as well. They say removing the enzyme will not dramatically change the taste of the onion. With the death of Senator Paul Wellstone, many are wondering how it will affect this year's election. The Democratic Party is working to overcome this tragedy and promote a new candidate in the campaign. And party activists on both sides realize the Minnesota Senate race could have national implications.
The death of Minnesota Senator Paul Wellstone was a shock to the nation and a tremendous blow to the Democratic Party. Andrew Johnson is an attorney from Crookston, Minnesota, who has been heavily involved with the Wellstone campaign. He says the Democratic campaign is starting to get back in order, but dealing with the loss of their candidate hasn't been easy for party members.
They want Paul Wellstone to be on the ballot, and they want to vote for Paul Wellstone. And to think that they weren't going to be able to do that and they weren't going to be able to campaign for him anymore was hard. And it's just emotionally, it's been hard to switch gears.
Walter Mondale taking Wellstone's place on the ballot so late in the race has a major impact, not just for Minnesota, but also for the nation. With the Senate so evenly divided, the Minnesota Senate race could give Senate control to either party.
Both houses of Congress are up for grabs, certainly the United States Senate. It's one of the reasons why the race in Minnesota was as visible as it was.
Quite says since Mondale is known to have the same kind of integrity and principles as Wellstone, the Democrats should still run a strong campaign.
It's not as if you're bringing in someone who could be seen as some kind of usurper. I mean, this is someone who can be seen as upholding Wellstone's beliefs.
Even with the emotional grief Wellstone's campaigners are going through, they are pulling together to try to win this race.
And I think in some ways, it might even add to their intensity. The idea that they would lose because of this disaster, I think would spur me on. If I were working for the Wellstone campaign, I think I'd say we absolutely cannot lose this one now. I mean, it's a part of a memory.
Even though Johnson and other Minnesota Democrats will be working hard to get Mondale elected, losing Wellstone will have a lasting impact on them all.
He was the emotional heart of the DFO party and had been for a long time. And I don't know anybody in this state who's going to be able to replace that role.
This is Christine Rohrig reporting for Studio One News.
One of the issues being brought up with Walter Mondale is his age. At age 74, he would be in the Senate until he was 80 if he was elected. But Democrats say his age isn't a factor and that his many years of political experience should work as an asset. And that's news for today. Monty and Kelly?
Thanks, Haley.
Well, we've had a pretty wretchedly cold month of October here.
It has been very cold.
It has been. Well, let's go to the Regional Weather Information Center with John Randall to see if we have some more chilly forecasts.
Well, Monty and Kelly, hopefully we should see a warming trend as we saw in that Friday forecast in the first half of the show. But right now, let's take a look at those current conditions right now in Grand Forks. We have cooled off just a little bit now that the sun has gone down. It's sitting at a temperature of 27 degrees, dew point of 17, relative humidity of 66%. And those winds are out of the west now at 13 miles an hour. Well, we've seen a very, very cold temperatures in our area lately. In fact, this has been one of the coldest Octobers recorded for the Grand Forks, North Dakota area. As winter approaches, we need to be more aware of the dangers associated with the cold.
The mercury is dropping and the snow is starting to fly. Frostbite and hypothermia are serious health hazards during frigid weather. When spending time out in the cold, there are specific indicators that frostbite or hypothermia could be setting in.
Some of the warning signs of hypothermia are, when you start feeling cold, uncontrollable shivering. That's probably the most common.
Other signs of hypothermia include the cooling of the chest and back, confusion, disorientation, a weak pulse, and shallow respirations. There are steps you can take to avoid getting bitten by the cold.
You want to keep your clothing dry, wear not only waterproof clothing but windproof clothing.
During winter, the cold is unavoidable, but the health risks associated with it can be. These simple rules for staying warm can help people enjoy the winter outdoors.
Well, it looks like we're going to have below average temperatures for the extended forecast. All the way into Monday, we're going to see our temperatures hovering right around the mid-30s and end up with a 32-degree temperature on Monday with a chance of some snow showers. Weather IQ question, at what temperature is absolute zero? The answer is A, negative 459 degrees Fahrenheit. Monty and Kelly, I sure hope that we don't ever see that temperature around here because that would be very, very cold.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Y'all agree with him on that one?
Yeah, I think my car is that cold in the morning.
It feels like it's quite possible.
All right, let's go back to sports now with Corey Morlock.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. Success doesn't always come easy. It takes hard work, experience, and a lot of patience, especially for a team in its first year. The University of North Dakota women's hockey program is entering its first season in Division I college hockey and is now taking on this challenge.
At the University of North Dakota, hockey has always been a way of life. With 7 national championships, UND men's hockey has built a storied tradition. The UND women's team, in its first year of Division I college hockey, is looking forward to grabbing its piece of that tradition. The team believes that the success of the men's hockey program can do nothing but help.
At least Fighting Sioux hockey is a known entity, and that definitely helps having them have the great traditions and history that they've had, winning 7 national championships. That only helps us.
First-year programs must face some difficult challenges on the road to success. Recruiting and scheduling gets a late start, which makes it very tough to get things done. Many student athletes have already committed to other schools, while teams have already made their schedules. However, these difficulties don't dampen the anticipation of the team.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you start in February and you have no team, you have nothing, and then now to see it all put together is very exciting.
Young programs like the Fighting Sioux know that the road might get bumpy at times. However, UND plans on working through these growing pains towards their goal. Hard work, dedication, and patience are some of the key words around the women's team right now as the team looks to build confidence.
I think with our hard work, and that's how we're getting there, and we're moving up every day in practice, and every game we're getting better.
The Sioux women hope that one day the women's program will have its own storied tradition. For now, the team looks to improve every day and pave the road to success for the program. This is Rich Marcis reporting for Studio One Sports.
First-year Division I programs like UND must wait 2 years before joining a conference. After the 2-year wait, the Sioux will apply to be part of the Western College Hockey Association. Now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports trivia question. This week's question, what country has won the most gold medals in men's ice hockey? Somewhat of a trick question, as both Russia and Canada have won 7 each. And that's the sports for today. Monty and Kelly.
Thank you, Corey. Crisis in a person's life can be traumatic. Many universities are creating programs to help students when their lives are interrupted by a crisis. We'll tell you about one of these programs later in the show.
And we'll meet one man who is making dreams come true for his customers. His unique hobby is enabling people to take the ride of their lives. That story is next on Studio One.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Some say they can tell a lot about a person by the type of vehicle they own. An opinion research survey says half the people at high school reunions are more concerned about the vehicle they drive than their marital status. Some people are so into autos that they regularly rent different vehicles depending on how they feel that day. We wanted your thoughts on whether or not you love your car.
I like my car that it gets me where I have to go, but I don't really like the car that I'm driving. I would prefer to have a newer one.
I love my car most days, except for that it was the first year it was made, so it tends to be more of a lemon. But other than that, it's in the shop all the time. I love my car.
This one I don't love. I like it, you know, but I don't love it. I used to love a car, T-Bird, but it got scrunched up, you know. So ever since then, I just haven't been able to be faithful to another car. So
do a lot of livestock business, and I also raise and breed miniature schnauzers. So the vehicle size itself is very appropriate for what I do.
It's comfy. It's warm. It's my car.
Motorcycles are a popular pastime for many. Some people want to ride but can't because of physical limitations. There is a solution.
You got a layer 21.
Mary Loyland shows people that age is not a limitation. Mary is an accounting professor who just celebrated her 60th birthday. She says you are never too old to do what you set your mind to.
That if you want to do something, you better do it, because you could drop dead tomorrow and never get a chance to do it.
Mary is one of those people who lives by her word. She's got a little bit of a wild streak.
It was something I've never really done before, and it was loud, and it felt, when you're on the back of a bike, it felt powerful, and you felt like you were 25 years old and nothing could stop you.
She really wanted a bike, but knew that she couldn't handle the weight of a full-size motorcycle. That is when she found Tim Gowan. Tim helps people who want to ride.
I enjoy people that come in and ride, and they come and buy parts, and they accessorate, put stuff on their bike, and it's just, I don't know, I just enjoy it. It's fun.
Tim takes a motorcycle and makes it fit for people like Mary. They're called Trikes. Although it may sound childish, these bikes are definitely full size. Tim couldn't be more happy to help people who want to ride. He also customizes bikes for people with disabilities. He says the Trikes turn a few heads.
It's just fun to pull in somewhere, and the Trikes really draw attention anywhere I've gone. And I put a lot of miles on every year, and it tends to, it's a unique feeling.
Mary bought one of the Trikes for her 60th birthday. She's a little disappointed though, because she has to wait until spring to hit the road. She says her family is a little worried about Grandma and her new bike. She tells them that she only lives once and just has to live it. With photographer Froda Tilden Nordby, I'm Allison Krebsbach.
Tim also restores vintage motorcycles. The oldest bike Tim has on display is a 1912 model. College students not only deal with stress from academics, but from their personal lives as well. We'll tell you about a one-of-a-kind program that guides students through tough times.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
According to the American Association of Suicidology, suicide is the leading cause of death among college students. Crises like suicide are serious problems that universities have to deal with. Many campuses nationwide are starting to form programs that help deal with these sorts of crises. Today we're talking with the University of North Dakota's Director of the Crisis Coordination Team, Jerry Bulisco, on what programs like these are all about. Thank you for coming today, Jerry.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, you're part of a special team, a crisis coordination team. What is your definition of a crisis?
Well, on our crisis team and on our campus, we define crisis kind of loosely in that any time a student has an emergency situation, student, family, their family, faculty or staff or their families have an emergency situation that they need some assistance in getting through. So those could be things like deaths in families that they need some help with. It could be a student that's in a bad automobile accident and they're at the hospital and a doctor might need some information from us, or we need to contact a parent, or we need to contact a faculty member and tell them that their student's going to be absent because of some kind of a crisis.
Okay. When you get a call with one of these situations, what does the crisis team do?
The crisis team is there to provide the second call after kind of a 911 call. We're usually called in by our police or the hospital staff or family members or faculty and so on. And we're there to sometimes comfort, sometimes advise housing staff or assist housing staff, sometimes assist our own police officers in helping the student or their families through these kinds of situations. And like I mentioned, sometimes we're a communications piece. We're the conduit that allows us to get a hold of a family member, or for us to allow our campus leadership to know that there's been something that's happened that they need to know about or they might need to help out with.
What kind of experts build this team?
We have a large team of campus professionals that range in almost all the student service areas. We have counselors on our team from the counseling center, student health, representatives. We have a representative from the Community Violence Intervention Center who's also on our campus, the Women's Center, Native American programs, TRIO programs. We actually have the police department and the housing staff, of course, are two crucial players in that, along with the Dean of Students Office and more. I'm probably forgetting a few.
Right, yeah, that's a pretty long list of people that you have there. Well, what happens then? You get a call, someone says, I'm having this type of a situation. How do you deal with that then?
If we get a call, if someone needs to contact our team during the day, that call comes into the Dean of Students Office. But at night, weekends, and holidays, when crisis usually occurs, that call comes into the 3491 number, our police number. And usually there'll be someone, myself or one of our either volunteers or a couple of our graduate students who may be on call, that receive that call and attempt to determine what kind of support we need to provide. We have access to student emergency information, and it may be a physician needs to talk to a next of kin, and we're able to provide that information. It may be someone, let's say in the residence hall, that just was notified that they had a death in the family and they just want to have somebody with them to comfort them. It could range in a whole range of kinds of services. But we're mostly a referral agency. We help the student that get through that emergency, kind of get through the night, and then we get them referred to where they need to go for help.
Well, how unique is this program? Is it something that's just here at this school, or is it in other places as well?
Well, it's catching on across the country, but I have to say very proudly that we're pioneers in that area. About 20 years ago, Dean Lillian Elsinga, who's the Dean of Students now, and the then Vice President Gordon Henry, formed this team to better provide the services to our students who were in crisis. And I've only been the director for the last 9 years, but over the last several years, our crisis program has been adopted by many campuses across the country. We've given a seminar just in March in Boston to campuses that literally came from all over the country to find out how they can start some kind of a process similar to ours.
Well, you've certainly set a standard and a process in motion now. What about goals? Do you have any goals for the future?
Well, we have one goal that we're working on actually next month, and that is to increase our professional development and the training and expertise of our people. We're involved in a program called Critical Incident Debriefing Training, which came out of the University of Maryland. And the purpose of that training is to better assist victims, but also service providers, to assist service providers police officers, student housing people, counselors that have to deal with tragedy and really sometimes don't have a chance to really deal with their own feelings. And we're the Eastern North Dakota, we're in partnership with All True Hospital and the state health department in putting our people through a program, and actually 17 people from the University of North Dakota will go through that training next month.
So it's not only the students that need help sometimes, but the providers as well.
That's correct.
Well, thanks a lot, Jerry, for coming on and telling about this important part of the university.
Well, it's great to be here, and thank you for having me.
Thanks. You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET-accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Voller Insurance partners with you in protecting what matters most. For more than 50 years, Voller has built its reputation on its people, its clients, and a commitment to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks. Voller Insurance understands that the strength of its people is its greatest asset. People that tailor insurance protection that meets your needs. That's the key to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks.
Studio One is celebrating 15 years of excellence. During our time producing the show, we've had the chance to talk to some people who have been in front of the camera many times. Today we're going to take a look back at some familiar faces.
The opportunity to participate in such a momentous event is indeed an awesome one.
Well, I always said I always like for people to think they got their money's worth, you know. If they got a good show and it was worth getting up and leaving the house for.
I didn't envision myself doing a game show ever.
That's probably one of my biggest downfalls. I don't train that much.
Boom, that was 44 years ago.
Bo Diddley.
Yeah.
Perhaps the best dressed guest in the history of
think
Studio
so.
One.
Wasn't that the flashiest
That
shirt
was
you've ever
great.
seen?
You need to get yourself one of those.
I think I should.
Well, tune in next week on Studio One. We'll talk with an expert about the adoption process. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with some fall pictures, courtesy of photographer Sten Brand. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.